And now, another exciting episode of As the River Churns.
All right. Well, welcome, everybody.
Yes.
Thursday.
I know.
We're in November.
We are. And it's been a whole week since the last...
Well, it's been even more than that since we've really done the show.
Well, that's true.
Right?
Yes.
Because it was last Tuesday we did the show. And
That's
last
true.
Thursday, of course, we had the meeting. I had the big presentation that
Yep.
we did. So it just seems like, it feels like it's been so long. I guess it has been long. It's been 9 days since we've done the show. So.
Yep. And like you said, November.
I know.
Whew.
But you know what? I have to say, I know it's November, and the cool mornings have been nice, but boy, warming up to being 67 to 70 degrees.
It's great. Fall
perfect,
afternoons.
Right? I
Yes.
mean, it's just beautiful. And
Yep.
it looks like next several days we're going to be right near that 70 mark and sunny. And
Absolutely.
I think we're actually going to carry this through for about another week. And then I think next Friday it looks like we might start turning down again.
Cool it
going
off
a little
again.
Cooler. But yeah, so.
Okay. You take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful outside, that's for sure. Oh,
Yep.
we need to turn over our thing here.
Yep.
So here. Oh, I always do that backwards.
There we
don't I?
go.
All right. So.
Very good. Keep us on track.
Yes. Well, welcome, everybody. We hope you all have had a good 7 days, 9 days, whatever it is, since we've seen you last. I guess we'll start out. We got a pretty big.
I was going to say, we have a lot to cover today.
Yeah, so we got a lot of things to go over today,
Yep.
so kind of strap in and get ready here. But we're going to start with something fun first, right?
Yes, absolutely. So today, have a riddle from Bonnie Smith. And the prize today is a $10 Target gift card that you can use online.
$10.
So that's
Okay.
super. Yep. And you're going to call Michelle at 336-389-4103. Okay. Now this is a hard one. Okay,
it's a
Tom?
hard riddle.
So bear with me as I read this. Okay? Here's the riddle. Individuals who perforce are constrained to be domiciled in vitreous structures of patent frangibility should on no account employ petrous formations as projectiles.
I didn't get that. Would you say that again, please?
I knew you were going to say that. So here we go again.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Do you want me to try it this time?
Listen closely.
You want me to try it? Because I'll mess it up really good. You want me to try it?
Okay. You try it.
All right, here we go. This is our riddle. Individuals who perforce are constrained to be domiciled in vitreous structures of patent frangibility should on no account employ, what's this word, petrous formations as projectiles. We butchered that up really good, I think. Don't you think so?
So what is the more common saying of that is what we're looking for.
So
what is it really saying?
I got it. So there's a more common saying that
There
actually
is a much easier one to pronounce.
This is more of a technical
This
type
is a
thing.
technical one.
Yeah. Wow, we have a winner already.
We have a winner. Thank God we don't have to repeat it again.
Yeah. You know what? If we had to say it again, we'd probably have some projectiles coming at us. What do you
Holy
think?
cow. Wow. That was a rough one, but a good one.
Yeah, you know what? I think I need a beer. You know what? I think we need to go out and order 2 beers for both of us, don't you think?
Beers? Are we back on that again?
I meant beer, 2 beer. That doesn't sound right, does it?
Okay. So just to clarify this, because
Yeah, this has been an ongoing conversation.
I
that
have
I've
been
had.
teased about saying beers,
Yes.
but I had been vindicated.
Yes, you have.
Mary Beth Carpenter
Yeah.
emailed me, and she said, Lisa, you are correct. Okay, that's all I needed to hear from her, that you are right. Beers is correct. It is a plural.
There is a time when you have to use the S as part of the beer.
Correct.
Yes.
So it was not wrong.
It's an unusual word.
It is. It sounds funny.
It sounds pluralized
Right.
in a lot of sense. You do. It is plural.
Kind of
when you
like deer.
Yes.
Deer
exactly.
are deer.
Yeah.
I mean, there is.
But we don't say
you
we're going to go
deers.
out. We don't say we're going to go out and kill a couple deers.
No, you don't. You're right. That is
Yeah.
only deer. So I get how beer sounds like it should be, but it's not. You
Yeah.
can't say beers.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I acquiesce and say you are correct, Lisa.
these big words today.
I know. I wish Cindy was here. That would be her word
She'd
of the
love
day.
it.
wouldn't it?
She would love it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, now more serious stuff.
Yes. So it's been 9 days since our last update about the coronavirus, and I pulled a lot of information today. Some of which I might go through, some of which I might not. But let's just get into some of the nitty gritty. Again, I pull all of this information. Well, I should say most of the information today is from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. They have a dashboard that they put, and you can go to that site anytime you want. It's really it's very interesting to look through that and kind of look at all the statistics if you're into that kind of stuff. But since last week, we have been averaging 36,000 completed tests a day.
Wow.
So we really have stepped it up. We're doing a lot more tests. Since last week, we have had 21,778 new cases, which is 6.7% is what I calculate out based upon the number of tests over the last 9 days versus the number of positive cases. So we're still high, higher than we want to be, but it's not terrible either. But Guilford is finding itself in not so much a hot spot, but we're definitely have had more cases as of late. Well, let me finish this first. So as a state, we've had 285,661 positive total cases since the start of this. We've done 4.2 million completed tests at this point. We have, as of today, 1,193 folks hospitalized for COVID, and that's 21 less than what we were last week. So that's nice. I hope that continues to come down. Unfortunately, we've had 337 deaths since last week. That seems high to me. That's a lot, but that just seems high to me.
High.
Yeah. And so, that's not been so great. But I looked at the site and was doing cases per 100,000 residents over the last 14 days. And there's been a little bit of a switch. It used to be we were kind of behind Mecklenburg, Wake, and Durham counties. Well, now it's flipped. Forsyth and Guilford now have flipped, and we're actually higher than them in the last 14 days. We've had 321 cases, and Forsyth has also had 321 cases in the last 14 days. Mecklenburg, 284. Durham County 254 and Wake 215. So we've kind of flip-flopped there a little bit. We're having a little bit more as far as that goes. But let me put this also into some sort of perspective. So again, Forsyth and Guilford at 321. The other ones are below us that I just mentioned, Mecklenburg, Wake, and Durham. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 counties that are above 500 right now over the last 14 days. And these are rural counties. So they're all rural counties for the most part. The closest one to us is Rockingham County at 525. But if you look at the map on the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, you'll see at the left-hand side of the state, kind of going up above where Charlotte is, going all the way up that region that way, all those counties are now having outbreaks and issues. It's starting to catch up to some of the rural areas of North Carolina. And so when you look at the map, you're seeing it's mostly the rural areas of North Carolina that are really seeing an increase in cases and in the positivity rate there. So, and I won't go through all the counties, but Alexander County is the highest that I saw. It's 765 per 100,000. So, when you still put it in perspective, we're not talking about a zillion cases here. So I don't want to overblow this, but at the same time, I think it shows trends. And so, and this is not only a trend here in North Carolina. If you look at the country in general, the rural areas, the Midwest areas, we talked about this maybe last week or the week before, we're seeing in the U.S. a lot of the rural areas that were kind of not hit up front because they're just not as densely populated. They're the ones now that are really driving the numbers up for the U.S. And so, I don't know what that means exactly, but that's kind of where it's kind of falling at. But so I just thought this was interesting. In the in the world, I just looked this up today. In the world, there have been 48.7 million positive cases in the world of COVID since the beginning now. This is since the beginning. And we've had 1.2 million deaths in the world. It's about 2.5%. In the U.S., we're quickly approaching 10 million positive cases. We're at 9.8 as of today. 240,000 deaths here in the U.S. And we're just about there. We're not quite there yet. That's 2.4%. So, still kind of tracking along that same route as what the world is tracking. And then when you look at North Carolina, when you look at we've had 4,548 deaths out of 285,661 total cases. That's 1.6. So we're running about a percentage point below, which is great. I mean, it's not great that we have death, but we know that there's going to be unfortunate deaths with this, and it's good that North Carolina is lower than that. When you look at where North Carolina is in rank to the rest of the country, we are ranked 27th this past week. We were ranked 27th in new cases. So that's good in the fact that we're now on the bottom half, because there was a time there that we were on the top half, right? Mm-hmm. We're on the bottom half, so I guess that's a good thing. And we're actually ranked 30th as far as our positivity rate, so which they calculate separately. So, those are good things. As far as our death rate goes, we're at 22. We're at 22nd of this in the U.S., but our percentage is still very low, which is good. Anyway, it's a lot of statistics there, and I encourage you, if you're more interested in this, to go to the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services site and look at this stuff. Let's go to nursing homes and residential care facilities. 21,021 cases since the start of COVID-19. That's 7.3%. We've been right around that 7.3% the whole time. And even with the deaths, we've had 2,263 deaths out of the 4,548, and that's 49.8%. So we've been, again, right around that 50% mark. Unfortunately, we're seeing a few more outbreaks that have occurred since last week. As a matter of fact, it's jumped up a lot. We were at 308 last week, I believe was the number I had. And this week we're at 339. So it's jumped up 31 facilities and nursing homes. And again, you can see that if you want to. You can go onto the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services site and look for outbreaks. And then there's at the front part of that screen, there's a place where you can click on it, and it shows you all of the facilities in North Carolina that have an outbreak going at this point. So we, fortunately, at the moment, are not on that list, and I would love to stay off of that list, to be quite honest with you. But, our communities, PHI communities across the state go in and out of that list. I mean, it's just been the way it is. And so the good news for us here at River Landing, and we're going to get into this a little bit more, I know, here in a couple minutes, but we had a positive staff member in Wingfoot that we mentioned a couple weeks ago. Because of that required us to start testing the residents in Wingfoot, which we did and have been doing. And so we have now passed our second week of having no residents in Wingfoot test positive. So the fact that there's no positive tests on the Wingfoot residents means we're done with testing Wingfoot residents, which is great. That means no residents actually contracted COVID-19 in Wingfoot from the positive staff member that we had. Also good news is we've continued to do our staff testing. Did another 75 tests. Last week, I think we may not have mentioned now that I think about it, because with Tuesday, we would have just been doing the testing. Right. So last week, we did about 75 tests. This week, we've done about 75 tests. And in both weeks, we have had all negatives. So that's really good, too. So we've kind of cleared that hurdle now in regards to, having any kind of true outbreak from that positive staff member that we had in Wingfoot. So And then, as we know, Lisa, I guess we want to get into this now at this point.
Right.
We want to talk a little bit about what happened here in independent living,
Yes.
right?
It was our first experience for the independent side.
It was, yeah. And, we've had a lot of residents that have been asking us questions or sending us emails. And, I think we had at least one or two residents that just told us, and I think they were being very honest with us. When it was happening over on the healthcare side,
it was removed from me. It didn't really come home to me.
Yeah.
But now that we've had a case in independent living, it's a little more, it could happen to us.
Yeah, it's a little more real.
So it's a little more real.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just really, I think, an opportunity for us to refocus as well.
Yeah.
And really think about, how we're doing things as a community, individually, personally.
That's right.
So I think it's given us some opportunities to look at that, and not that we want people to be fearful.
No, of course not.
It's not that. It's just going back to the basics of the education piece of it too.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. Let's spend some time just talking about what happened.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we, and I'm going to get the timing wrong because I can't remember that stuff, but let's just say at some point, I think this past weekend,
Yes.
we got notified by an independent living resident
Yep.
that they had tested positive for COVID. They'd had
Right,
some symptoms
right.
on Saturday, got tested, and then I think it was
Found out Sunday night.
evening, we got notified that they had tested positive.
Right.
So the steps we took, which are the steps that the Guilford County Health Department requires
Right.
us to take,
Absolutely.
is to go back 48 hours from the testing
From the
time,
testing date. Yes.
So that's
Yep.
what we did. And when we did that, we found out that that there was the potential for some spread to about 6 or 7 independent living residents
Right.
who had a prolonged event with somebody
small
related
group.
to
Right,
this
right.
positive person. So it was kind of once removed.
It was.
So-
Yep.
So, we obviously did the further contact tracing. We kind of narrowed it down to these folks. We've identified who they were. We contacted them, let them know what was going on. And, not just the person that was positive that we go ahead and quarantine. We quarantined the other folks for their protection and for the protection of the community.
Right.
Even though, and I still believe this, even though I think the chances of them actually having COVID-19
Right.
are very remote.
Exactly.
Very
Yes.
remote.
Yep.
So the positive person, the positive person wasn't the one that came in contact with the 6 or 7 other folks. It was another person that came in contact that was with the
other person.
Right.
Right.
And that person that was with the other person, we actually tested on Monday. We found that person was negative.
Right.
And
right.
so, but we know with COVID sometimes somebody could test negative initially and
That's right.
then they can test positive a little later. So again, the extra precaution at
Sure.
that point to make sure that we were taking care of our community. And that is first and foremost, folks.
Right.
We're going to take care of our community here. So because of that, we went ahead and did this. And there has been a little bit of, we were very honest in saying that, the event that happened, which was an entertainment opportunity that these 6 or 7 residents were a part of,
Right.
was prolonged. They were there for a couple hours. And the big thing I think that was really shook us up a little bit and everybody else up was that this happened with residents not wearing the masks.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that was the part that was like, oh gosh,
Right. It's like, because they could have had this event
Yes.
and wear a mask, and we wouldn't have thought anything of it.
We probably wouldn't have thought anything of it.
Honestly, this event could have been safe.
Yeah.
It could have.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to scare everybody.
Yeah.
There is ways to make events safe.
Yeah.
But when you remove your mask for 2 to 3 hours, and that's prolonged exposure.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to worry about.
That's right.
It's not passing someone in the hallway with your mask on. We pass each other all the time.
Yeah.
That's not where our fear is. It's that prolonged exposure for that kind of time with no mask on. That's what you would need to be attentive to.
And I think the hard part is, we keep trying to do our best to educate residents, let them know.
Right.
Don't let your guard down. Don't let your guard down.
Sure.
And you know what? It happens.
It does.
We
We're
know
human.
that.
Yes.
We're human beings. It's going to
Yes.
happen.
Absolutely.
That we're going to let our guard down from time to time. And, so we have had some interesting emails this week about how could this happen? How could these residents do that?
Right.
And the reality is people make mistakes.
Exactly.
And people get comfortable. We've talked about this, I don't know, the bubble of safety, if you want to call it, too.
Right.
Thinking that, we're living at River Landing. We don't have anything to worry about.
Right.
And the reality is that, once we open up the community to be able to allow independent living residents to leave the community,
Right.
that bubble kind of
And the
went
visitors
away.
coming in
Well,
now.
and the visitors coming in
That
is
adds
awesome.
to it.
We got
Yep.
a little bit more control there
So-
because we can tempt them and screen them coming in. So, that part, not perfect, but at least we got a little bit of control
A little bit
there.
more control.
But,
Right.
when you all are going out and visiting family members, it happens.
Right.
I mean, this kind of
And
stuff
with
happens.
families, just like with each other here, we let our guard down.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anybody could probably admit that there's been an occasion where
Yeah.
they didn't quite think about it, and it happens.
Right.
So
So, we just want to make sure that people understand, the folks that were there for this event, we're not going to go out and tar and feather these folks. We're not going, we're not going to be doing
No.
those kinds of things, obviously, because they had a lapse of judgment at this point, and they got comfortable with what our setting is here, thinking that it probably wasn't going to be able to happen. And so it's a little bit of a wake-up call, but
right. It is.
it is.
Absolutely.
But I think we have something that we might want to share with residents here, right?
We do. We actually have a nice little video, a testimonial.
Yeah, a little testimonial about this particular event.
Right,
And
right.
I think it'll be very good. So listen up.
Greetings, River Landing family. I am a poster child for participating in a private indoor gathering of residents for a prolonged period of time without face masks on. 2 days later, one of our spouses had cold symptoms, and 3 days later, we learned he had tested positive for the coronavirus. Why in the world did I participate in an unmasked indoor gathering in spite of having been cautioned otherwise for months by River Landing's management team? I think I have fallen prey to thinking that we live in a protective bubble here by the collective success of River Landing residents and employees in remaining virtually virus-free these many months. I also consider that the people I was with are safe to be around. Like myself, they have consistently been practicing safe habits, both on campus in common areas and off campus, wearing masks, hand washing, maintaining 6-foot distances, not dining in restaurants off campus, not participating in large gatherings, etc. So why am I speaking to you today? I think there are other residents and perhaps staff also who may have fallen prey to protective bubble thinking as well, whether it's with fellow residents or with family members and close friends you've come to think of as safe. I have been witness to and told about both sanctioned and unsanctioned events with different groups of residents at each where masks were not worn, because we think we're safe with each other. Without wanting to spread fear, we cannot continue to think this way. As people visit with family and friends both on and off campus and resume activities in the community, we open ourselves up to more risk, particularly during a time when positive cases are rising. Unfortunately, because symptoms do not show immediately after exposure to someone with the virus, we will have been in contact with quite a number of fellow residents before we know we have the virus ourselves. If you've had a close call being exposed to someone who tested positive for the virus, you know the dreadful feeling I have felt this week, wondering whether I contracted the virus and worse, spread it to anyone else. Fortunately, it appears that spread has not occurred, although we are still in the quarantine period. Please join me in taking our compliance with safe protocols up a level by consistently wearing masks when meeting with other residents indoors, particularly when safe distance is not kept. Stay safe.
Okay. I mean, that was very brave of her.
It was. I applaud
offer to do
her
that.
for taking this bad situation
Yeah.
and being able to help us all learn from it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that she did that.
Yeah, and I think instead of condemning the folks that are part of this,
Right.
you know, I think this is just really, we were very fortunate and very blessed in a lot of ways. This could have been a lot
Absolutely.
worse.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's really, we've been very blessed in that we had an event, but it ended up not being, hopefully will end up not being a huge
Right,
deal
right,
here.
sure.
And it's a little bit of a wake-up call for our residents and for staff. And the timing of this couldn't be better in some ways because we for a couple of reasons the timing couldn't be better. One is that we know Thanksgiving is approaching, and it's
Right.
approaching fast. And so, you know, we know that's the case. And so I think this message is a really timely one in that as we get together and start thinking about what our Thanksgiving plans are going to be, whether it be residents or staff or whatever, we just need to be extra cautious because we know what's going to happen after Thanksgiving.
Right.
We know that whatever rate we're at, not so much here as a community, but as a country or as a state, county, whatever, it's going to
We're
go
probably
up.
going to see an increase.
We're going to see it go up.
Right.
Because you
Right.
kind of have, like she said on the video,
Yep.
you know, when it feels like it's family,
Right,
you just
right.
have a trust there.
Absolutely.
And I think, honestly, I think that's where most of our transmission is coming from now, is from family members. We're seeing that with staff,
Right.
a lot of staff.
Absolutely.
We even think, we don't know 100% sure, but we think the independent living resident may have also gotten it from a family member.
Right,
Don't know
right.
that for sure, but
Right.
that's
Sure.
kind of just putting two and two together. It's
Sure.
quite possible that it came from a family member.
Right.
So, you know, again, even more of a possibility.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we're kind of laughing, and we're not laughing at this.
No.
What we're laughing at, honestly, is we both forgot to bring something
I
down with
forgot to
us
bring something
that
to
we
show.
wanted to show you because it's very exciting. Will you go upstairs and get?
In my office. Yes.
So
that'd be super.
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Lisa,
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Because we got a little something that we think would be very helpful.
Yeah. It was very timely.
It's
with this.
very timely.
We had something come in this week that was very timely,
Yeah.
almost around the same day that we became aware of this event. So it's something that will help us all. And just want to reiterate again, when it's okay to have certain social events and certain
activities
things.
and events.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're following, you know, the 3 W's is really what we keep harping
Just
on
be
here.
careful.
Right. Just
and
be
you know-
careful with it.
and-
Wearing
and-
the mask.
It goes without saying. If we've said it already once, you know, if this event had happened with them wearing masks,
Right, right.
you know, we would have
I
had a
would not
lot
have had-
less anxiety about this.
Yes,
and our residents
absolutely.
who were there, I think, as you heard,
Right.
would have had a lot less anxiety
Right.
about
They would have
this.
had more peace of mind.
'Cause they would have known that they had at least some protection, right,
Exactly.
against this.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
we know that masks are not 100% foolproof.
Right.
But they're still a great barrier between you and the person
Absolutely.
that you're dealing
Yeah.
with. So, you know, it's just very important. And again, like I said, I think it's timely because of the holidays coming up.
Yeah.
We need to be thinking about these things. And I know that's tough. You know, I want to be with my extended family
Sure,
for Thanksgiving.
sure.
You know,
Yep.
I'm going to miss that. You know,
Right,
I think
right.
it's probably going to end up just being me and my immediate family
Sure,
this
sure.
year.
Absolutely.
And so, but if I do bring somebody in to our home, we're going to screen them, and I might even try to find a way to
Right.
test them temp-wise.
Right.
And, you know, we're going to make sure that we're wearing masks.
Right.
And that we're social
Right.
distancing. And even the dinner table,
Sure.
I think we're going to try and maybe spread out a little bit.
Spread it out.
A little bit. You know,
Yeah,
as best we can.
absolutely.
So, yeah, So I know this has been a hard subject for our residents, and I think that we've seen a lot of response this week, Lisa, from residents who have been a little nervous about it, right?
Absolutely. And we've had several residents come to us and say, I've had this happen to me where I thought it was okay to take a mask off during a group.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of folks come forward and be like, I realize it now. I can't let my guard down. So, okay.
So, we got us. Lisa, this is pretty cool, right?
It is. Are we ready?
Ready. We're ready. So
Okay.
we're going to have a gift for you all.
Let's see if Brian can zoom in here. So a couple weeks ago, we actually ordered these.
Uh-oh, Brian. Hi, everybody.
That's the wrong Lisa. So come back here, Brian. So if you can see this well, this is a personalized river landing mask. So in our nice royal river landing blue, which we all love, and you'll see our logo on it here over in the corner. Let's see this way. Yep, right over here. So I think that's the best we're going to be able to see it. So everybody check out their in-house mailboxes. Sometime tomorrow, we're going to
Right.
get those in there.
That's right.
So
Hopefully in the morning.
probably in the morning.
Yeah.
Yep. So hopefully we have a group that can help put those out tomorrow.
Yeah. And Lisa, we're going to do our best to make sure that every resident has one. So if you're
Right.
a couple, we're going to try and do our best to make sure that we put two masks
we're gonna
in your
try.
box, not just one. If we mess up, then just go to the front desk,
Right,
and
right.
they'll
Yep.
they'll be able to give
Yeah.
you one.
If we
But,
missed your second one for the spouse,
Yeah.
come to the desk.
But we
So-
bought enough masks so that we could have one for each resident
Right.
and one for each staff
Right.
member.
So as our
And-
staff come in on Friday as well, coming through the temps and the screening areas, they'll also get one.
They're going to get one as well. So,
yep.
yeah.
Just another way to kind of, bind us together too. This
Yeah.
is, once again, we're all in this together.
And we couldn't get over how the timing of this was, right?
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Yes.
so.
Yep.
Okay. Lisa, let's see. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is an interesting area to talk about, and that is the area of vaccines.
Right. Right.
So I think everybody is well aware that there is a lot of testing going on right now for vaccines. They're tens of thousands of people are being tested now for different types of vaccines, trying to find what might be the right vaccine. What you may or may not know is that the federal government has already put, I don't know the exact number, but I am thinking it's 6 to 8 that they have funded to go ahead and start the production of these vaccines. Even though they're not FDA approved yet, and they haven't been proven yet that they're vaccines, they've taken the most promising ones, and the federal government has started actually with the process of manufacturing these vaccines. So we have found out through email and from notifications from the federal government that the federal government now has actually set up a process through CVS and Walgreens that we can elect into for vaccines, because we are a healthcare facility, and this includes the independent living as well, not just our healthcare residents and staff. This includes the independent living side as well, that we can opt into this program. And so we have done that. We officially did that this week. We've opted into this program. And so when the vaccine becomes approved and available to us, that we could be on the front end of that, which I think is very exciting, that we would be in the front lines of that. So a lot more education to come about that. We've been told that actually the first vaccine, again, I don't want to confuse people, but the first vaccine actually will be available as of December the 11th. So now the problem with that is, just because the vaccine is available doesn't mean it's been approved yet. So just because they have it doesn't mean that they're going to be able to give it to anybody and be able to use it. So we're going to have to just see how this all plays out. What vaccine or what vaccines, because there may be multiple types of vaccines that might be effective with COVID-19. And so I share this with you to let you know a couple things. One, know that we are basically reserving a vaccine for you, for each of you, for each of our residents here and for each of our staff members. We are basically reserving that vaccine for us. Second thing to let you know is, I think there's some real promise that this is potentially going to be happening sometime in the next several months. And third, I think it's just, we need a little bit of good news, I think, to go along with some of the stuff that's going on today. So I'm hoping this is good news. And, we're going to just make sure that we take care of you. And there'll be more education coming out about the vaccines. I think there's just not a whole lot of education about, what does the vaccine actually going to do?
Right.
What kind
How
of
long is it
adverse
good
effects?
for?
What it could be,
Right.
Nobody knows any of this yet. So I can't even kind of tell you that stuff yet, or we can't tell you that stuff yet, to be able to advise you as to whether or not you should get it yet or not because of that. But, we're starting at least to see some progress being made towards vaccines.
Right.
And so,
Yep.
and the federal government, I think I'd mentioned this a couple months ago when we had met with, when I had gone to Glen Eyre and met with that representative from the Federal Department of Health and Human Services, that they were on this warp speed project. And so they were trying to get all the channels in place to be able to put a vaccine out once they get one approved, to put it out very quickly. So I think we're seeing some of the effects of that actually coming into play right now. So anyway, there might be some questions about that. If you have them, just send them to Lisa and I. We'll be glad to try and answer them. But there's a lot of unknowns still about that. But I wanted to let you know that we're trying to take the upfront steps to kind of get us ready so that when there is a vaccine, that we could be on the front end of that.
I was going to say, being in the first wave feels better, too, just knowing we're a priority.
We're a priority.
Yeah.
That's the way to say it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. The clinic has received in another shipment of the high-dose flu shots.
good.
So if you haven't gotten yours yet, call them to make an appointment. They're ready to give some more shots, so that was good news. They just slowly keep coming in.
Yep.
Let's see. Don't forget, extra 10% in the clubhouse. Okay? We don't want to forget that for the apparel.
We've gone from medical now to
We have. We're transitioning. We got to shake off the virus stuff right
therapeutic
now.
things. We're buying
Yes.
things, right? Buying
That's
things at a
right.
discount.
Well, there's
And-
a clear difference in this agenda
And
here.
Lisa, we're hearing that things are selling pretty good up
Yes,
there, so
yes.
it's limited
Yep.
supply of stuff. So get
Yep.
up there and get your stuff while there's still good.
I think this morning they said they already sold 10 to 12 shirts. So, I mean, that's a lot for us in one morning.
That is a
So
lot. So
make sure you need to get up there, check it out. It's an extra 10% off. So
Right.
that's great. And that's through November 25th.
Right.
Okay, let's go to another fun thing, reverse raffle.
Right.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I
Wow.
heard a cheering in the
We
back
heard some
somewhere.
cheering. And it's
Brian
not that
and
we were
Mich-
hearing
it was
things.
Brian
It
and
really
Michelle.
happened. It was Brian and Michelle in the room. We did hear cheering. Okay. There's not many tickets left.
No, we're getting down
Okay.
to the nitty-gritty.
We are getting down there. So,
After Lisa bought 50 tickets, it really became down to a lot of the nitty-gritty at this point.
Tom, you told me you bought the 50.
No, I
Okay.
think you're
Okay.
off by a zero there.
So we probably have about 50 tickets left.
I think we have about
Okay.
50 tickets.
Okay.
yeah.
Unless Tom buys them all by the end of the show, which I don't think he's going to. We have about, he's buying 8, I heard.
I've been volunteered to buy 8 at this point. So.
Apparently you have. I
Well,
don't know.
I might be close to 8 by the time I'm done. So
Oh. Okay, so we have a few left. And of course, you watch this from the comfort of your home.
yeah,
I mean, that's the beautiful thing of this.
or sitting at a table right in front of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, very good. So, tickets are coming out. Michelle is in the process currently of printing them. They'll be in your boxes sometime tomorrow. So you're going to want to check your in-house box. If you don't see your ticket by Monday, you need to call or email Michelle by Monday, okay? Because that means maybe we didn't get your ticket order. Maybe somebody accidentally took your tickets out of your box. Whatever it might be, please follow up with Michelle on Monday if you have not seen your tickets through the weekend,
Yeah.
okay?
And we are getting down to nitty-gritty.
We are.
Just
We
a little
are.
bit more than a week until the event.
Yep.
And so obviously
Yep.
we want to sell all 300 tickets.
Absolutely. And we
So
just started selling to our staff.
We did.
So we're hoping to sell a few there as well.
But there's still time and room for residents to buy extra
Right.
tickets.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
So please do. If you're kind of been on the fence about it, now's the time to kind of
Yep.
jump off the fence
Yep.
and get into this.
And
So,
on your tickets, you will see about how to pick up your chili box. So you're going to have a boxed supper that night for folks that are at home.
Yeah.
You'll get a container of chili, and then you get some fixings that go with it and some desserts. So
Dessert,
it's going to be
yeah.
a great little thing to pick up. And if you live outside, you'll pick up at the clubhouse from 4:30 to 5:30. If you live inside, you'll pick up at the creamery between 4:30 and 5:30. So those are folks that are watching from home.
Right.
That's how they're going to take care of that.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So it's very exciting, but it is on your ticket. So, and if you forgot, if you picked the beef chili or the chicken chili,
Right.
Michelle's she's got a spreadsheet of it all. So she knows what you picked. So
That's
we
right.
can help you out with that.
There you go.
Yep.
And if you're a couple, you might want to just get one of each. Then that way
Absolutely.
you can
Be
sample
great
both,
to share.
right? Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
So, yep, perfect.
So, Lisa, we do have a small change, though, that goes
We do.
along with the
We do.
raffle, right?
Yep.
So, I don't think we've mentioned this on the air,
No.
but, you know, in light of what happened with Ken
Yes.
and his wife,
Right, right.
Ken has said that he would prefer his cousin, nephew, Bubba.
Nephew.
Bubba. He would
Yep.
prefer his nephew Bubba to not be a part of the program on next Friday night, and we absolutely understand that.
Yes.
And
Yep.
you know, we would actually encourage him not to do that. He
Right.
needs some time for mourning and for those kinds of things.
Absolutely. Yep.
So we're working on Plan B as far as,
Yes.
and so it's going to be different.
It is.
It won't be the same as with having Bubba here, but we might, you know, have a couple of people that
Absolutely.
might
And,
be a part
you
of
know,
this.
it might be worth buying a ticket just to see.
Yes.
what it might be.
And we're not even going to share what that's going to be.
That's
yet
right.
at this
It's going to
point.
be a surprise.
And it might even be a surprise to us. I don't know. No, I'm teasing. We do have an idea who's going to end up being the MC or MCs at this point. The rest of it, we just have to work.
Exactly.
So-
But it's worth buying a ticket.
Yeah, it could be interesting. All right.
Okay, just a couple more things here. Just to let you all know, Dorn in the clubhouse, probably a lot of you have missed seeing him up there. He's on a personal leave, so just want to let you all know that. And we have an interim clubhouse manager. Her name is Stephanie, and she started up there this week.
Yeah.
And I've already had several residents say they've met her, and she's a great lady, has a lot of great experience. So please welcome her to our community.
Yeah.
And you should be
Absolutely,
seeing
please
her
do.
up in the clubhouse going forward for now. So, one last thing, Technology Committee. So this is a new committee we would like to form, and already have a few staff members, a few residents that want to volunteer to be on this committee. This would be, I think you all know Tim in maintenance. He helps folks with different things related to the internet, printers, computers, iPads, all that kind of stuff. Tim is one person,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay? And his main focus was supposed to be more on, you know, spectrum-related things in the way of if your TV box goes out, resetting that,
Yeah.
helping you get back on the internet, different things like that,
Right.
more related to that. Well, we have found that Tim could be busy 23 of the 24 hours a day.
Yeah, he could
Would that be fair to say, Tom?
Yeah.
So there's not enough Tim to go around. And really a lot of it comes down to personal things that really Tim probably shouldn't even be getting involved with, actually. Setting up people's emails, setting up sound bars, just different things that really are more on a personal basis that aren't the whole community. So we have found that we need some more support there. So this Resident Technology Committee would be folks that say, I will volunteer, and if we get calls for someone to help with email or setting up a sound bar or helping someone learn how to use their iPad, I'd be willing to go. That's what this committee will be, is residents willing to say, I will help serve. So we will be putting out a flyer with a little more information about this and have a resident, kind of a steering committee that comes out of this. That we have Scott Lottie. I think he's gonna help me get this off the ground. And I really think this could be a good resource to our community and as well to help out Tim with the things he's working on.
Yeah.
Just a lot more work out there than what Tim can even handle. So.
Yeah, and honestly, Tim has a hard time saying no.
He does
to
have a hard time
residents.
saying no.
And,
Yes.
what we're seeing is Tim will go to a resident's home expecting to do one thing and then being asked to do 2, 3, or 4 additional things
Right,
while he's there.
right.
And that's just not fair to all the residents. So
Well, it's not, because that's a community position. So, I mean, his position should be for the whole.
That's right.
It's not just for a few residents to use for several hours each week. We also seem to see a lot of frequent repeats.
Repeating, that's right.
So we need help with those kind of things.
That's right.
So we'll be putting a flyer out, but just from this, if I've piqued your interest, send me an email. I'd appreciate that.
Lisa,
Okay.
we warned you to
We
strap
did.
down.
We
We
said
had
it was
a lot
going
of
to be a long
information
one.
today.
We have a little bit of salt left, so
Yeah,
or sand.
and I don't think the
so-
rest of it's going to take too
No,
long.
I don't
to
either.
do, so.
Okay, a couple questions today. Is the Lynx Fast Pass gate working yet? Can I still go out the exit? So yes, you can still go out the exit. That part's been working fine.
Yeah.
So it's the coming in part. There is some interference.
Right.
Is that fair to say, Tom?
Yeah.
There's some type of interference that we're working through right now. The gate intermittently works. That's where the problem is. That's why we have it closed right now. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, we're not sure if we're getting some sort of signal mix-up from the Piedmont Triad Ambulance and Rescue
Right,
next door
right.
there, or what exactly the issue is, but they're still trying to figure out why it's working intermittently, and we can't have
Exactly.
it work intermittently.
Right,
So
right.
until we get that figured out, we'll just have to keep it closed.
Right,
But
right.
we got some folks working on it. We got an outside company that's in here trying
Yeah.
to help us with it as well.
Absolutely,
So
so good question.
obviously, as soon as we have it up and running, we will have it up
Yep,
and running. So.
absolutely. Why are we still having issues with the lights in the gym? When will it be fixed? That's a great question, too.
So, we did. You and I have
Yes,
personally noticed that
we
had a
have.
flickering light or two in there. And so the construction company got the vendor to come out. They put 2 new lights in, and we thought, oh, great. And they were
It's
working
fixed.
great. And then another light started being
Right,
an issue.
right.
So the long and the short of it is, I won't give you the whole story, but the long and short of it is that we are going to go ahead and replace all of the lights, that hanging lights in the gym where that issue was. So we actually are going to be closing down the gym. I think that's coming out later
Yep,
today.
next
on
Tuesday.
Next
Yep.
week, to be able to go ahead and get all the lights. They're going to just change them all out. They think there's a possibility that there might have been a bad batch of lights, and so they're going to just change them all out. And as you know, you can't just go up there and screw it.
right.
It's, they got to bring a lift in. They got to do all that stuff to be able to fix those lights.
Right,
So
right. So the gym actually will be closed that day. That's next Tuesday. But the other areas are still open.
That's right.
So the
Walking
walking
track.
track's still open, the exercise equipment area is still
Classroom,
open,
that's right.
classroom, right. So the other areas are open. Just know the gym is closed for that day.
And we don't know how long it'll take. So
Right,
on
right.
Tuesday, at some point during the day, if they start early and
Sure.
they get along very good, it may open up later in the afternoon. But we're just
Yep.
telling you that, for the most part, expect that it's probably going to be down most of the day, if not
Right,
all of it.
Right. Okay, this last question, Tom's a little different.
Yeah.
Okay? So, can a resident have a gun in their home?
Yeah, we don't recommend that. Technically, we will on occasion allow it. A lot of times, residents will have antique guns
Right,
or,
right.
what should I say, guns that have been passed through the ages
Sure,
of their families
inherited,
or inherited
yes,
or
yep,
whatever.
yep.
And those obviously are fine, but you're supposed to require the executive director to approve that. And when I
Right.
get those, and I don't
Right.
haven't had that happen often, but
Sure.
every once in a while I get one. And, it's really for me just a matter of looking at what the situation is, why they feel like they need it, or is it just
Right.
And, we just don't like having guns on the premises
Right,
here,
right.
obviously. That's just that's a risk.
Yeah.
But in certain circumstances like that, like I was saying, when it's a heirloom or a keepsake or something, then that could be something a little bit
Right.
different. So.
Okay, well, birthdays. Yes.
Okay, birthdays.
And since we haven't been on since last week, we do
Uh-oh.
have quite a list today.
All right, let's go through them.
So I'm going to start with November 1st.
Okay.
Patrick Kennedy had a birthday.
Patrick.
November 2nd, Bill Armstrong had a birthday.
Bill.
November 4th, which was yesterday,
Yep.
Billy Farlow, Jack Cole, and Dee Dee Berry.
Wow.
And then today we have Layla Busey.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
And then coming up, since we won't be on again till next week, Saturday we have Bill Briggs, Francis Taylor, and Harriet Keyes.
Wow.
And Sunday we have Mama Music. We all know who that is. That is Rachel Dunn, our very own band director.
Okay.
So happy early birthday.
Happy birthday to all of you.
Yes. Staff birthdays. November 1st, we had Jonathan Lewis in dining. November 3rd, we had Antoinette Woods, EVS, Jeremy Hillian in nursing. November 4th, which was yesterday, Cassandra Balderas in nursing. And today, we have Karima Hogan in nursing. And for the weekend, we don't have any.
We don't have any.
Unusual.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So happy birthday to all of our staff members.
Absolutely. Okay, we've gotten down to the trivia today. And I want to verify. I know we do have a
repeating
winner.
the question. I just don't think we should repeat the question. I'm not sure I have my heart in it.
But you did it pretty good.
Well, I need to have another beer in front of me here, or beers in front of me.
Beer or beers.
Yes, to
Yep.
be able to do that. So.
Okay, from Bonnie Smith. Bonnie, it was a good question, a good riddle. So remember, it's a Target gift card today. Individuals who perforce are constrained to be domiciled in vitreous structures of patent frangibility should on no account employ petrous formations as projectiles.
Oh, you did that very well, Lisa. Very
That was
good.
after 10 times.
I'm
So I'll rehearse
clapping.
that one. Okay, the answer is people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah, that's a
That's a
lot
good
easier
one.
to say.
It's a lot easier. Why did they have to even come up with the other one?
I don't, because it's a riddle. See, that's the
I know.
idea. I guess
Okay.
that's
So the winner today is Jim Kalaki.
Oh, Jim.
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations.
All right. That's
Okay.
great.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So let's go through some future things. So tomorrow at 3 o'clock, right here, 1390, we have an EVS presentation. They're going to talk a little bit about what services they provide and introduce you to some of the team members. So you don't want to miss that. Next week on Monday, we have Victory at Sea at 3 p.m., a documentary series on the history of the U.S. Navy during World War II. Pat Wade, that same night, Monday night, 7 o'clock, 1390. She's going to have a patriotic tribute to our veterans.
Oh, that's
We all
great.
know it's Veterans Week next week.
That's
So, Tuesday, 10:15, Food Forum on 1390. Make sure you turn your questions in to Joseph by tomorrow. Tomorrow's the deadline to get any questions in for him to address on the show. 3 o'clock, River Churns next Tuesday. Wednesday, Veterans Day tribute, so officially Veterans Day. And I believe Brian has a program that he's working on. We'll announce that next week about the actual time of it, or I'm sure we'll have a flyer out or something. So just want to give you a heads up on that. 3 p.m., Furl Leadership Session with the Wellness Team. Thursday, River Churns again at 3 o'clock, and our guest will be Lois Edwards to talk about the Employee Appreciation Fund.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So you do not want to miss that either. Friday, we have the Reverse Raffle. 6 o'clock, 1390, or the multipurpose room, or the Hilltop Pub, depending on your ticket. Whew, that's a long one, Tom.
That was a long one.
And we didn't even have a guest today.
We didn't even have a guest today.
And whew, a lot of information.
You know what, Lisa? We are 3:55 almost. I think we'll skip the joke for today. I've
Okay.
gotten some good stuff from a resident that I'm going to probably use next week, and so
Perfect.
We'll go through that. But I think we go ahead and close it off
Okay.
at this point.
Sounds good.
Because we've just bombarded them with information.
We have
today.
a lot to take in today.
A big thank you to our resident who did the video for us.
Absolutely.
That was, I think, really great that
Yes.
she did that,
Yep.
and I think I hope that it'll have a nice,
A good
nice
impact.
impact. I don't know
Yes.
if it's the right word to say, but an impact.
An impact.
Yeah, because I think it's important for us to know that this can happen to us.
It can, yep. Absolutely.
And sometimes it happens to us even when there's no fault of our own.
Sure, sure.
But,
Yep.
That's just, again, trying to take precautions as best we can. So, again, as always, send your questions to us if you have them. If you have thoughts or other ideas for us that you'd think would be good for us to put on the show, we'd be glad to do that. But we love you all very much. We care about you. That's why we push so hard with some of this stuff, because we really want to make sure that we're doing a good job taking care of you. And if we didn't love you, we wouldn't take care of you. So,
Absolutely.
So we appreciate you all very much. Thank you for making River Landing your family and your home. And we're just, we're very thankful and very blessed, I think, to have this family that we have here at River Landing. So enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. And buy those raffle tickets, please. I don't want to have to buy 50 of them, okay? So help me out here, please. All right. Thank you. God bless.